You know, wow, you could you could tell now that Hooters has opened up, at least for curbside pickup. All the people hot rodding around, doing burnouts and stuff like that. 20% left on my battery here, so I guess it's probably good enough for maybe a 20-minute live stream. So you guys know the drill. As long as I got a halfway decent Wi-Fi signal, I'll have a halfway decent live stream going. Before it starts buffering. Yeah, you hear all those cars like doing burnouts and stuff. So Hooters is open for like curbside pickup and stuff like that. But wow, when they finally do open up the restaurants, because Hooters is only like about a block and a half away from my house. That's all you hear. Greetings. Hey there. Oh yeah. So here I am once again, just sitting in the truck here around midnight, because the Wi-Fi signal I can pick it up out in the street. I we have this one commenter always comments on my videos, usually like after the um, live stream is over. Marty, why are you still in the truck? Well, I'm not. I'm just doing the live stream sitting in the truck. Always looking around, because it is nighttime and you do have some kind of like nefarious characters sometimes walking past. But yeah, I'm still working on the wife's. Still working on that Ford Edge. I don't want to knock the phone over, but CV joint, like the axle, sitting right next to me right here for that car. So tomorrow I'm going to put a different ball joint in on the passenger and brake caliper hanger. I'm looking in the mirror because there's a car rapidly approaching. There we go. Well, anyway, that's what I plan. Let's see. I'm determined to get as much copper. Oh yeah, I think I've seen you comment this comment on, I don't know who else's channel. I'm determined to get as much copper as I can. I want to get money to buy virtual equipment. Oh yeah, because you're a gamer or something. I know my daughter's boyfriend. Here, I'm gonna plug my phone. Yeah, sometimes nice. Yeah, see, some. Oh, now I got the good old buffering thing going now. But I guess we're live. Let's see. I stock number one and brass. Scrap everything else. Oh, so you're like hoarding your number one copper and brass. Is that what you're doing? I guess the prices have gone up a little bit. Hey, let me know if there's a video or if there's just sound. There's this darn thing's buffering after I plugged it in. That's all it wants to do. Yeah, copper. Well, brass is pretty much recovered. It's like where I'm at. It's $1.30. Yeah, I plan to melt number one and brass into bullion. I wonder. I've always wondered about people to do that. Like, you know, the scrapyards around here, they get a little leery about people that bring in like block ingots of copper and stuff like that because they have no idea of like how to grade it. You know what I mean? Is it number two? Is it number one? You know, are you hiding lead in the center of it or steel? Yeah. This one smaller junkyard, the owner actually came out with a battery-powered sawzall and cut the guy's ingots in half. You know, probably looking for I don't know steel or lead or something like that, filling in the center. Because people will do anything. I've gone to the same yard for over 10 years. Oh, okay. Very close to the scale master. All right. Well, they probably trust you for the prices for both steel and copper have gone up for sure. Yeah, I guess steel supposedly is going to go up. I don't know, next month. I invest in what? I invest in Nicker or nickel. I don't know what you. I can't read that in my. Is my show buffering, by the way, or is it is the signal coming in live? Because I've got this. Oh, yeah. Yes, you're cutting in and out. Yeah, look what it's doing after I plugged it in. Look what it's doing. That's really annoying for the live stream. It started out perfectly fine, but when I went to go and plug the battery in, I might have to like restart this or something like that. End it and then like restart it if it keeps doing this. Because I figured I'd at least get a better signal. Darn it. Yeah, if the economy would like, you know, get back to like how it was like at the beginning of the year, I mean, things would have taken off like you have no idea if we didn't have this COVID-19 thing and everything else going on. This would have been an incredible year. Uh, uh, year's almost halfway over now, right? Should we just give up all hope on it, or is there still hope for what's left of 2020? As far as scrapping is concerned, because we all know if you've been scrapping for a long time. Oh, okay. Nucor Corporation is an American producer of steel related products. Yep, headed in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's the largest steel producer in the United States. Yeah, okay, I've heard of them. We don't have any Nucor scrap yards or steel producers around here. We have Southworks and I don't know a couple other companies. There's some smaller like electric arc furnaces. Like it's a car junkyard and a scrapyard, and they actually bale their scrap and crush their cars and ship them to Iowa. Because I think the junkyard is a part owner of the electric arc furnace in Iowa. But of course, they don't pay as much. Trademark Metals, TMR. Huh. Yeah, never heard of them. I just know there's a couple of furnaces still operating, in northwest Indiana, and I think there might be one in Iowa. But other than that, I know our area pays more than most areas for steel. Like in Joliet, where I live, there's one yard that's paying $120 a ton. But you go into Chicago, and the prices start dropping. That's our local yards in Florida. Okay. I don't even know if Florida has any steel mills. I kind of doubt it. Florida's like got a huge population, but it's not really industrial. I don't know. My mother lives in Florida, and wife's a lot of my wife's relatives live in Florida, and every time I go to Florida, there's not real lot of just doesn't seem really industrial. Even though there's like twice as many people living in Florida as Illinois, I think Florida's got like 22 million people living there. When there was COVID lockdown for 2 months, I scrapped everything that I found from people being, oh yeah, evicted. When they gave out the stimulus checks, yeah, people, yeah, when they gave out the stimulus checks, people started like spending like there wasn't gonna be tomorrow. Like appliances, I found like more water heaters than I've ever found before. It's like maybe people used to shower at the gym or at work or something. As soon as that money came in, the bank people are spending it on remodeling the house. Yep, and throwing old crap away. Same thing here. It seems like it's slowed down though in the past like couple of weeks. I'm in Clearwater, Florida. Yeah, in the past couple of weeks, the amount of scrap I'm finding on the street is like dropped dramatically because the lockdown is like coming to a close, and it's not mandatory to wear a mask. I got masks in the car here, but because some places require you to wear a mask, though. Which I guess is prudent because don't want that to come back ever. So I stayed out here in this truck during that time period, like 3 weeks. I just want to get way past that, but I guess supposedly they're going to send out a second stimulus check for like $1,000 or 1,200 or something like that. I guess what they're trying to do is kickstart the economy. After being like shut down, we had the lowest unemployment in the last 60 years, all the way up until about the end of January, and then this happens. And you got like in Illinois, you had like 20%. Oh, you noticed a slowdown too. Yeah, I've noticed a dramatic slowdown in the amount of scrap out there. So I don't know, maybe the scrap yards are going to end up paying more for scrap because it's going to be scarcer. Because it was coming in at like a record pace. Every scrap yard I went to, I mean, Once all the scrap yards started opening up, because a lot of them were closed down, I'm finding mainly washers and dryers. Yeah, I was finding them, but I haven't found a washer or a dryer in about a week. Water heaters too, yeah. Water heaters. I found more water heaters in this springtime, like from April to, the end of May together. Probably found about maybe 300 water heaters, which normally in the springtime you might find in that time frame maybe 60 or 70 if I'm lucky. Plus the guy down the street, he had 39 water heaters. I got a U-Haul to, it was just too many, for the pickup truck. I would have to make too many trips. So, and they wanted them out of there right away, I guess, because a neighbor was complaining about all the water heaters in the person's driveway and their backyard. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end this stream and then start a new one, because if it's gonna keep buffering like this. That's where I make most of my money, though, is from scrapping metal, and I do pallets a little bit, but not. I don't make. I don't find, but like maybe like 1 or 2 pallets per week. And I have a stockpile at my compound I need to get rid of. Turn it into cash. I'm gonna sign off on this one, and I'm going to restart another live stream because this one started buffering after I plugged in the phone. All right, wait, gotta answer this one before I close this. 2020 has been the most profitable year of my life. Well, let's see. I'm just gonna ask, how old are you? Because 2020 has been pretty good because of the lockdown. Everybody, like, for scrapping, even though the prices are low, there's just been so much. But maybe you're newer to scrapping because days of Emperor George Bush. The scrap. That's a call. Great Emperor. Scrap metal prices from like 2006 to like 2008 were just record setting. I mean, those were the years of $4 a pound copper and $390 per ton scrap steel. $1.50 brass, 90-cent aluminum, mixed aluminum, like cast, sheet, just all mixed together. You could very easily, okay, if you packed it right, you could easily have $400 or $500 worth of scraps on your truck. Okay, so you're 34. Maybe you're newer to scrapping because what? 2006 was how long ago? 14 years ago. 2006 to 2008 was 12 to 14 years ago. During that time period, how's the hanging mate? Alexander Platts. Yeah, things are going. Alexander, things are going. Got rid of some pallets today. Maybe I'll get rid of some more tomorrow. I'm not sure. Yes, I remember the Bush days. Yeah, no, the Bush years. Now that's where the money was. Maybe 2007. 2007 was really, it was really good. I mean, the housing crisis was just beginning to like really, start to boil over, and there was a lot of foreclosures, which meant tons of scrap out by the curb. 14 per 100 of steel. I started in 2008. Oh, okay, so, well, if you started in 2008, if you started scrapping in the beginning of 2008, scrapping was still pretty darn good. $4 for number two copper, but there was too many scrappers. Yeah, see, now you're identifying the number one problem right there. The prices of the scrap go way up, the gasoline prices go way up, and you also have lots of scrappers out there. You even have like what like blew my mind as I'm like just driving along looking for scrap. Well, there's a bicycle, there's a dryer, and all of a sudden this blonde lady, like maybe 110 pounds, she's driving a huge Chevy Suburban, flies past me. You know, I'm like, wow, that was rude. You know, as I'm going like 15 or 20 miles an hour, she made a beeline to a refrigerator. She jumped out of her Suburban, popped the back door open, and this 110-pound lady lifted this side by side refrigerator into the back of the Suburban. I'm like, I'm I've been driving too long. I've been scrapping all day. I'm imagining things, but that's back in like 2008. So you had like even people that didn't normally scrap, you know, finding out that, you know, prices for metal, like back then, you know, a refrigerator like that was probably worth about $30. Uh, I'm also trying to get my rare coin collection checked out, and hopefully, I wonder why like part of your comment is like not even visible. It's like I don't know, it's weird. I'm also trying to get my rare coin collection checked out, and hopefully, I don't know what the rest of it says. I don't know if you have a rare coin collection. I mean, those are worth money. That's something that's always worth money. Rare coin collections. It's always worth money, and it's almost like should you even cash something like that in, or stuff like that could be like considered the family jewels, you know, and there's like a main person in the family, so to speak, that you can entrust stuff like that to that never gets sold, never gets scrapped or pawned off. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Kind of sad to like let a coin collection go if that's what you're gonna do. No, save that stuff for retirement. True, or like just pass it on to an entrusted child while you're living. You'll regret it. You'll regret what? Like giving it to an entrusted family member to keep it like in the family. That's a sad thing that people have to like let go of stuff at some point rather than like passing it on. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I've always thought that like, but then I look at my kids and I'm like, if I was like really rich, which kid could I give it to? And I look at him and I'm like, okay, well, Dominic, he's a little iffy there. I mean, he's not a bad kid or anything like that, but he's always perpetually broke. He doesn't have a driver's license. He's almost 27. And my daughter, she's in a long-term relationship with some guy that I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's got much interest in stuff like that. Selling it, yes. You'll regret it selling it. Yeah, because once it's sold, it's sold. I mean, it's gone, so you're not getting it back. So don't even bother. I remember when my brother bought a 1960 Chevy from the original owner, and this is when we were like a little bit younger. And I remember about 3 days later, the original owner, he's a really old guy, calls my brother up and he's like kind of begging for the car back. Not funny, but I think maybe other family members started like ripping on him. What did you do with it, Gramps? You sold it? uh, Teach them the difference between money and fiat currency. Yeah, I mean, that's a really difficult thing to do. I mean, I guess it's possible to teach kids, you know, what the difference is because, from a very young age, and I'm talking like from, baby with pacifier sitting in shopping cart watching mom, swipe a card and never even exchange money. They Kids really don't have, I'm generically speaking, a lot of kids don't have a real concept of fiat currency, money, the value of money, and what precious jewels and coins and rare stamps and stuff like that are. It just seems so, I don't know, so adverse to, or opposite of like gaming and social media, and it's such a static thing, you know what I mean? A coin collection, it just sits there, it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Even if you had real copper pennies, this is true. That is exactly true. If you have real copper pennies, which were made all the way up until 1982 and a half, the same thing for Canada too. Canada in 1982 and a half had solid copper pennies, and then after that they were made out of like zinc or some sort of form of like aluminum, and they were copper coated. So like, if you ever drop like some pennies like on the floor, and you live in a northern state with salt, on the floor in your car, and they just sit there like on the floor mat or whatever for a few weeks, the salt, the road salt coming off of your shoes or whatever. I've looked at pennies that like were 1982 and a half and new, you know, just like the door handles on older cars, how they're chrome and then they get them like little pits and stuff like that. Same thing happens to them pennies. Are they're worthless, metal wise, because it's really just aluminum, and they actually weigh less than the old copper pennies. I put them on a auto body shop paint scale, which you measure like. I'm getting boring now. When you look up a paint code on a car, you get this pint or a quart of mixture, and then you add tint colors, a little bit of this and that, and you have the can sitting on the scale, and it measures thousandths of an ounce or a gram, and that's how sensitive it is. I remember putting pennies on the scale just like, oh wow, the 82 and a half and newer pennies weigh 2.5 grams, and the copper ones weigh what 3.3 grams or something like that. So almost like almost a whole gram more for the copper penny. 3 to 1 each, so 10 is a troy ounce. Yep, there you go. Zinc pennies are 2.5. Yep, just like I said, I remember when I worked at the auto body shop that my wife's uncle owned. It's out of business now. I used They have a paint mixing scale, all all digital and computerized and stuff like that. I remember putting the pennies on it, and the copper pennies almost a gram more, or close to it, like zero point 0.7 of a gram. I forget. But it's interesting to know. I know there's a couple of like YouTube channels where they go searching through coin rolls and stuff like that, looking for silver coins and copper pennies. 10 pennies is a troy ounce, and 16 troy ounces makes a pound. So that's 160 pennies, right? To make a pound of copper. And right now, a pound of copper is about $2 a pound. So, yes, the penny, copper penny, okay, scrap value, it's worth more than a penny. A little bit more, not a whole lot more. There's one currency where it's not really even fiat currency anymore. It's real value. It's real value exchangeable for fiat currency. So what is it really? Unless you turn it into gold. And we get into this argument all the time. Gold is controlled by oil, and oil is the king commodity. So uh, when when the price of when the price of oil goes up, then the price of gold goes up, and then everything else goes up, even steel, food, bread, corn, wheat, all start going up when oil starts going up. Think about it. I mean, it takes oil to make food and bring food into production. So all this totally makes sense. So actually, fiat currency is actually the king of all king commodities, even though its worth is actually fake in the way that its worth is just what the government says it's worth. Is there any way of getting away from any of that? No. UK scrap metal price per ton example: copper wire, dry bright, 3,000 pounds? No way. To 4,500 pounds. Wow, that's a lot because what's the exchange rate for the dollar to the pound? I think the British pound is $1.25 now. Brazery, okay, that's like number two copper. That's a pretty darn good price. Sounds like the prices have gone up. I'm sure they'll all be gone within the next 5 years. Hmm. I wonder. It could be. I've noticed. I've got a bucket of pennies. Well, you're gonna get me out. I'm all over the place like a bad shopping cart wheel. I've noticed a steep decline in copper pennies. I've got a bucket of them, maybe about $20 worth or so. I turn your coins into cash or whatever like that, or deposit it. It's almost impossible. Plastics are oil. Yep. Oil is used for just about everything: food production, medicine, makeup, building. Well, there we go. Just think of something silly and stupid like steel, scrap, just curbside, you know what I mean, from you, the scrapper, driving by and picking it up. Okay, all right, and look all the hands that you have to deal with. From you have to purchase the car, you have to purchase the insurance, the registration, right? Uh, and then when you go and turn the metal in, you're bringing it to a scrapyard, and you know, they're just they're just a buyer of it. I mean, they're going to sell it to somebody else, who's going to sell it to somebody else, who's other hands need to touch it, right? Like, say it's like sent by barge or railway involved, unless you're the owner of. Oh, why does it have to buffer? I hate that. That's good to know, though, Alexander. That's a good amount of money there. Look where the price is set. The price is set for. The prices are set for metals, aircraft, and finished metals. Household cable, 900 pounds. That's not bad. Aluminum, 300 to 600. Stainless steel, 400 to 600. And stainless doesn't really move that much price wise. Aluminum is depressed in its price, and it's been that way for quite some time. Will it ever come back? I mean, I end up stockpiling huge amounts of it, and I end up tripping over it, and it's like, yeah, I just got to get it out of my way. As much space as I have, you end up, I don't care. I mean, you end up running out. I mean, I got my whole warehouse all mixed up with like breakage of aluminum, and I emptied it out. That along with those pallets. That's a good thing about pallets is they don't really go up and down in value. that's a stable. That's a stable commodity if I ever seen one. $3. Of course, that's here in the States. I mean, they're probably worth more other places. I wish it would stop buffering like this. uh, I'm just fascinated by the copper prices over in the UK. That's like, that's pretty darn good. That's impressive. Especially with the way things are right now. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to end this live stream because it just keeps buffering and restart it. Alright, because I think it must be going in and out. This is what it's doing. Whatever. Oh, look at it. You get the Hall effect. There you go. So if you're somebody like me trying to do a live stream, and it's doing this, it kind of takes the fun out of it. So, bye everybody, and maybe I'll start another one, see if I have better luck.